Welcome to the Success Blueprint, strategies to build a life and business you love. This is your go-to podcast for success in both life and business. I'm your host, Daniel Craig Johnson, and as a seasoned life and business coach with 15 years of experience, I will be sharing powerful stories, practical tips, and valuable insights on personal development, leadership, entrepreneurship, productivity, motivation, and more. Join me every week for the Success Blueprint, strategies for building a life and business you love. Let's ignite your success. Good afternoon. It is Friday. Daniel, your host from the Success Blueprint. And I hope you had a good week. This Friday, I really briefly want to talk to you about 6 points that I've observed. 6 things that I think are really important. And you can drop me a message, get in touch with me, and let me know if you resonate and if there's anything in there for you. Obviously, any of these points, I help my clients to deal with these things, help my clients to move closer towards happiness, towards balance. And I do have coaching programs that will help in whatever area you think you need to improve, get better at, whether it's business or your normal life. I can always help. So drop me a message if you want to get in touch. But before I send you off in the weekend, let's talk about these points. Point number 1 that I want to share with you is do not compare. You have to live your own life. And we all have that friend or acquaintance that has stunned us with unexpected news, like all of a sudden they divorced on Facebook or broke up. Other life-changing events happened for them. And it leaves us bewildered. And we question everything that we thought we knew about that person for the very specific reason that social media and all those platforms, they create this highlight reel of the perfect life. Everything is always great and there's this constant bliss and everyone is doing well. Everyone is super successful. And what happens, and I think that is something that everyone kind of knows, we fall into this trap of comparing our lives and we question why we don't have that car, why don't we have that house, or why are we not at that exotic vacation spot that they are. And if we happen to be going through tough times in that particular time, then it makes us feel even worse and it amplifies the feelings of not being satisfied, maybe not being happy, not doing well enough in life. But there's one thing that you really have to remember, and that's that no life is a movie. No life is perfect and no life is constant bliss. And as much as we fall into the trap to portray our lives in that way, maybe for validation, maybe because we think that's the only way that we are going to be accepted by society. But the opposite is actually true. We have to be mindful and understand that there is times in life where we have rough patches, and there are more now in these uncertain times and exponentially changing times where we have to consistently change and keep up with the rat race. And there's no one in this world, no matter how well they do, no matter how wealthy they are, that is perpetually happy and satisfied. That's impossible. Just because someone has health or possessions and maybe has more than we have in that current stage of life, that doesn't guarantee happiness, contentment, or life satisfaction. In fact, quite often the opposite is true. Status doesn't make us happier. And it doesn't buy us class, which is an old saying. And it doesn't buy us friends. It doesn't change anything. Maybe makes us sleep better if we know we can eradicate or remove any obstacle with money. But when we're unhappy, it proves over and over again that wealth, possessions, money, that's not everything in life. We must remind ourselves to be kind and respectful to ourselves, regardless of where we are in life. And that's a very important one. I always like to say we have to be happy with what is provided us at the current stage in life. And it doesn't mean that we sit like ducklings waiting to be slaughtered. Of course, if we can change something in our situation, if we know we're not getting that job that we desire, because we don't have education, or there's actions that we are not taking and that are holding us back from being successful in our career or in our studies, in our partnerships, then obviously we have to do something about it. And the universal truth is that there is a law of cause and effect. And that is as simple as, if we want to improve our lives, we have to take action. And we have to strive to be the best versions of ourselves in every aspect of life. We must show up every day with our full force and put in the effort to achieve our goals. And if we do this, we'll find that success and happiness will come to us naturally. So we're coming back to the thing that if we want to be successful in our relationship, if we want to be successful at work, there's very often hard things that need to be done. And if we are willing to do these hard things, then we inevitably be more successful in life. We move more towards happiness, towards balance. And when I talk about these things, I'm not talking about that getting there with more money, with more status, a bigger house, or whatever the case might be. That's all temporary happiness. That's all things that wear off. The more that we get from something, the less it feeds us. That's just a normal thing of humanity. So in order to achieve long-term happiness and success, we need to constantly adapt. We need to know, when are we moving closer to happiness, towards happiness or balance, and when are we moving away from it? That's what I tell my clients all the time. There's no such rat race as finding happiness, finding bliss, finding this, finding that. The things that we can focus on is, are we moving closer towards happiness and balance? Are we moving away from it? Are we moving closer to what we define as success in our life, or are we moving away from it? And if we are moving away from those things, then we take action, cause and effect. Then we have to put something in, we have to take action, and we have to show up and make sure that we do what needs to be done to be the best versions of ourselves. And then happiness and success, no matter what that means for you, will come naturally. And the last thing, we have to appreciate the simple things in life and understand that very often less is more. It's so true. We need to find our own unique path and not worry about the lives of others. And that's so important. Comparing ourselves to others will only lead to self-pity and envy. And it's a surefire way to live a life that's unfulfilled. You'll never be fulfilled if you're consistently comparing yourself to others. So I urge you, embrace your own journey and create your own beautiful life. And in doing so, you will find true happiness and contentment. And investigate, what does that mean for you? What does it mean for you to create a life of happiness and contentment? Investigate what you want. Investigate why you want those things. Are they actually things that you want? Or is it something that you think society wants from you in order to portray a picture of success and happiness? Investigate truly, what do you want? And what do you need to be happy and feel fulfilled, feel a sense of belonging, feel a sense of purpose? And once you identify that, then take massive action and move towards those goals. And you will get to the end of the road, I promise. So point number 1, do not compare, live your own life. Point number 2 that I would like to talk about is, do not fear the future. We live in times unlike any other. The world has transformed through the pandemic, everything surrounding the pandemic, and things are not the same anymore, and they most probably will not be the same again. There's rapid change. It's not only post-pandemic, it's generative AI, it's developments that we cannot even comprehend. We live in such a fast-paced time, and in general, I always love to use the word perma-crisis. We live in a constant state of crisis. The whole world lives in a constant state of crisis, and nothing is really the same any day. And it's more so than it has been for a long time. We are really in these times where everything is rapidly evolving. We have exponential change, and Uncertainty and rapid change has become our new normal. And anxiety and fear have become prevalent as the exponential rate of change leaves many of us to struggle. Many of us cannot cope. The weight of uncertainty is overwhelming at times, placing tremendous amount of pressure on our shoulders. Whether you're a parent, a worker, employed anywhere, working for yourself, it does not matter. There is consistent weight on our shoulder. How are we going to keep up with the constant change? Is AI going to take our jobs away? What are we going to do? The world is changing. Demographics are shifting. People are emigrating, immigrating. Everyone's trying to find their spot and trying to find places where they can really thrive. Finding those places where they can thrive and do better because they're not happy with what is happening where they are. But we recognize very quickly that change and shifting dynamics are happening everywhere. It's everywhere the same. So we do have to find a place where we understand that resilience is something that we have to foster. We have to be willing to be resilient, and we have to work on it, and we have to improve our resilience because it is something that we need in everyday life. It's precisely during these trying times when we need that resilience that we cultivate those skills. And rather than succumbing to fear, we must future-proof ourselves by focusing on what we can control and influence. And I see many clients, they are so involved during the day to try to control things that are completely out of their control. And they waste energy and they waste their body budget on trying to pull things around that are not theirs to be pulled, rather than focusing on the things that they can control and influence. Like you're having a tough time with your partner. You cannot influence how your partner treats you. You cannot influence how your partner responds to you, fights, argues, whatever with you. But what you can control is to become the best version of yourself, become the most lovable partner possible for your partner. And everything else will fall in place or it won't. But that is the part that you can focus on. That's what we can control and influence. How do we show up at work? How do we show up in our friendships? How do we show up for our education? We cannot control whether the school or the university or the partner or the work is still going to be there tomorrow, next month, but we certainly can control how do we show up when we have the opportunity to show up and really take control of those things that we have and that we can influence by our behaviors and by the action that we take. So we always have to strive to become our best selves and approach every day with a clear plan of action towards our goals. And may it only be for the day, focusing on what do I want to achieve today, living more mindful and understanding that every single day I can take decisions and I can take action towards becoming closer towards happiness, closer towards balance, closer towards the success that I have defined for myself. We can take charge of our own lives in this manner. We can gain clarity and focus and become our allies, helping us control our destiny and achieve peace of mind. By being proactive and premeditating our days, we can remain calm and we can stay composed, even in the face of adversity. And that's what it is, practicing adversity or how to respond to adversity. You cannot practice adversity, but you can respond how you act and behave in times of adversity. And when we are faced with challenges, what can we do? How can we respond to it? How can we keep our calm and our composure? And perhaps most crucially, we must stop expending precious energy on things that we cannot control, as I mentioned. So it's important that we embrace wherever we are with courage, determination, and a steadfast commitment to becoming our best selves. In doing so, we will weather the storm that comes our way, and we will emerge as winners. So important. We have to understand that we are in ever-changing and shifting times, and all that we can do to decrease stress, anxiety, fear is to work consistently on practicing resilience and showing up in full force so that we know we are prepared and that we're not just sitting there waiting for the next disaster to happen. So point number 2, do not fear the future. Future-proof yourself. Be ready and prepare. Like you would prepare for any exam or for anything that's important in your life. Make everything a priority and understand what is to come this week, this month, this year. How many of those things can I really influence? And then do your best to do so. And you will see you will move closer towards happiness. You will move closer towards balance. You will move closer to becoming resilient, maybe as a leader, as a co-worker, as a partner, as a husband, spouse, whatever you want to call it. If you follow these principles, you will move into the right direction. Point number 3, and this must be one of the most important ones, one that I see that people consistently struggle with. You are enough. It's time to be kind to yourself. I say it again, you are enough and it's time to be kind to yourself. I implore you to embark on an introspective journey for one full day, every now and then, every 2 months, every 3 months. Embark on an introspective journey for one full day, a day of observation into the way you speak to yourself. Listen to that little nagging voice in your head that accompanies throughout the day. And notice just how many times you actually belittle yourself, undermine your own self-worth, and reinforce your self-imposed limitations. I want you to take back the reins. I want you to switch off the autopilot of everyday life and regain full control over that insidious critical voice that ridicules, demeans you day and night. And trust me, I've been there, and I know that you have been there many times. When we do not observe that voice in our head, it goes mad, it goes crazy, and you'd be surprised how many people fly through life in autopilot and do not understand that majority of the bad feelings, majority of overwhelmed stress and anxiety comes from that little nagging voice in your head consistently talking down on you. And why would we talk to ourselves in a way that we would never talk to anyone around us? Why wouldn't we start being kind to ourselves first before we even expect anyone else to be kind to us? Believe me, once you begin to mindfully observe this process and change the way you speak to yourself, everything else will transform. Every time you catch yourself saying, I can't, replace it with a resounding, I can. When you're tempted to bully yourself, put a stop to it immediately and offer yourself some genuine kindness and encouragement. And when fear threatens you to overwhelm you, remind yourself that you are capable, that you are enough, that you're smart, that you're strong and prepared. Give this a try for just one day, and if it doesn't transform your life, then don't hesitate to reach out to me and let me know. I'm confident that you will discover the immense power that lies within your own mind and that you will emerge from this journey emboldened, empowered, and ready to conquer anything that life throws your way. Recently recognized that hold people back a lot and make life for people difficult. And obviously we're scratching the surface in these episodes. And there's so much more to be said, so much more to be identified, so much more that needs to be done in terms of the groundwork to really prepare ourselves and to future-proof, not to fall into the trap to compare and forgetting to live our own life because we're consistently just trying to match the life of others or things that we see around us. To not fear the future and be future-proof, be resilient and capable of handling adversity without anxiety and without fear or depression. To understand that we're good enough and that we have to be kind to ourselves and that we have to eliminate that voice in our head that always talks down on us. Something that many people struggle with and don't even recognize during their day. That we find our tribe and stay true to them that we make ourselves part of our environment. Point number 4, find your tribe and stay true to them. It goes without saying that the world is brimming with people who may not bring any value to our lives. And that's perfectly fine. Every individual is unique, and it's unnecessary for everyone to be fond of one another. If everyone likes you, you know that something is going wrong in the first place. Sometimes we just don't click with certain people, and that doesn't make us or them bad. They're simply not part of our tribe, and I think it's so important that we understand that. However, it's important to stop wasting time on those that are not in our tribe, especially those who are negative, abusive, or deplete our energy, deplete our joy, our confidence. Sometimes it's just better to let go of those individuals, do it with a smile, do it with well wishes, instead of holding on to those people that drain your energy. Surround yourself with your tribe. Work on becoming the best version of yourself. And as you reach a certain level of self-love, discipline, clarity, and focus, then we can actually add even more value, not only to our own lives, but also to the lives of the people in our tribe. Understanding the importance of having the right people around us and setting clear, conscious boundaries to filter those people out of our lives that don't align with our values is crucial. It's important that we find our tribe and nurture relationships with people that add value to our lives relentlessly. Remember, surrounding yourself with the right people can make all the difference in life. Whether it's at work, and sometimes there we don't have the choice because we have to work with our co-workers, but even there you can bring those closer to you that add more value. And you can be amicable and work together with those that don't. In life, in our friendships, pull those close that are your trusted critiques, the ones that live according to the values and principles that you deem correct for friendships. Value those people that are honest with you, that care about you, and that have your best interest at heart. And as more as you attract those people into your life, people that have good intentions, that have your best interest at heart, that are a trusted critique when you need them, that are there for you when you need them, the people that really want to be a part and contribute to your life just as much as you are willing to contribute to theirs, that's the people that you have to pull close. And once we start filtering out those people that detract from us and that really dry us, that almost suck the life out of us, drain us emotionally, then we have so much more resources available to give to those people that are important. And remember, it's not only your friends. Your tribe is also your family, your kids, your siblings, husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, whatever you want to call it. Those people also need a part of you. So stop wasting time on people that are not part of your tribe. So this was just 6 points that I've recently recognized that hold people back a lot and make life for people difficult. And obviously we're scratching the surface. Point number 5, don't let money rule you or diminish your dreams. Financial well-being is undoubtedly crucial, and we all know it. Money talks. But money does not define us. We always have to remember that we have the power to make decisions and take control of our financial situations, no matter where we are in life. If you're afraid to make a career change because you're scared you're going to lose money, you're thinking from a scarcity mindset. There's always something out there, there's work out there, there's always more money to be made. We have to think abundantly, because what would be worse than recognizing in 30 years' time that we've done that job that we dreaded, that we didn't like, that made us so unhappy and made us a slave of someone else, just because we were not willing to take one risk. You don't want to invest in yourself because you're scared you're not going to see the next paycheck. You're afraid to take risks because you fear that you might end up worse off than you are now, is holding you back from making that one change that could potentially change everything in your life. So let me ask you this. What if you made that change? And what if it works out and you earn even more? What if you take that new job and it takes you to heights you've never imagined? Of course, every risk should be considered and assessed. But sometimes you just have to take the plunge and go for it. I always urge my clients to think abundance, not scarcity. Money can always be made. Mistakes can always be corrected. But I guarantee time wasted cannot be regained when it comes to investing in yourself. At the end of the day, you will never have to look back and say that you haven't tried or wonder what if. Believe in the power of taking that one more shot, because the biggest opportunity of your life could be just one decision or one risk away. I encourage you to be bold, be brave, and remember, no one has ever reached the front of the queue by moving in reverse. And that is the simple truth and reality. You have to embrace it. You have to go out there and want it hard enough. And it doesn't matter what your financial setup is. It doesn't matter. You can still do anything that you really believe in. You can do anything that you are willing to work for hard enough. And success very often lies with those people that are not afraid to do the hard things. Many people that are very successful in life, they did not have the money that someone else might have told them they need to create that success. So don't let money rule you or diminish your dreams. Point number 5. And the last thing that I want to talk to you about, point 6, is breakthrough to self-awareness and find direction in your life. And in terms of self-awareness, I can share a funny story. I always think that I'm the most friendly and approachable person when I'm out there. My partner always laughs about it because I have been told by her and by others that I can be quite intimidating. And that's just because I'm rugged, I'm big, I got a shaved head. Sometimes I'm very focused, so I don't recognize what's going on around me and I pay no attention and I have this serious face. And the moral of the story is that people around us don't always know in what headspace we are. So they don't know what is going on with us. And therefore it makes it much more hard for them to respond to us. And we all have faced situations like that. We might be sitting in a restaurant, there's the table next to us. They're loud, they may be obnoxious, and we just think rude. But very often it's a lack of self-awareness. And sometimes you might have people that just really don't care. But it usually comes down to a lack of self-awareness. And that makes so many situations in our life so much more complicated. When we know how we impact others around us, when we know how we impact a discussion, an argument, when we know how we can impact a meeting, a get-together with friends, when we start being more self-aware, we have full control over how people receive us in terms of our behavior. Does not mean that someone might not still be intimidated or handle us in the wrong way or respond to us in the wrong way. But when we become more self-aware, we certainly take away a lot of unpredictable factors, because we can influence if we in an environment where we recognize there's someone around us that is a bit more skittish, that is maybe a bit more quiet. We can calm down, we can lower our voice and be more accommodating towards that person. If we are in a leadership position and we have that one staff member that is always terribly afraid to talk to us, then we can take a different approach. We can sit in a different manner. We can have a softer voice, be more accommodating towards their fears. When we talk with our partner and we know that our partner might get onto the defensive side because of certain things that we say or triggers that we push, we can adjust our style of talking and the way
AUX mode.
then we can adjust our style of talking, the way that we deal with them. So there's many ways how our self-awareness can push us into a much better position. We can position ourselves in a way that we very often can take full control of what is happening. And yes, it still remains that we cannot control how other people around us will then still respond to us. But by taking control over ourselves, we can make many situations much more predictable and therefore less likely to cause anxiety and stress within us. So by practicing self-awareness, we can really switch off autopilot and take full control over many things that happen in our life. I cannot stress enough how important it is to work on that skill. And in doing so, we can find more direction in our life. We can know that many things that are heading our way, we can put them where we need them to be. We can improve relationships. We can improve relationships with our coworkers, improve relationships with people around us, with our communities. And we take away so many things for us that are unpredictable. And that will help us find more clarity, find more direction, find a better way of moving forward in our lives. It's crucial to have clarity and direction. During my session with clients, I'm often surprised by how little people know about what they want, where they are going as individuals, as partners, spouses, friends, siblings, parents, or in their jobs. It's vital to investigate and consistently evaluate what we want and where we're going. And more importantly, the why. Because the why is where the magic happens. Ensure that the why is yours and that it is yours alone and that it aligns with your values and your aspirations. Do not let it be a mere reflection of what others, society, or even worse, social media wants of you. There's nothing worse than living according to the highlight reels of the people around you. We all know it. We've discussed it. You have to find your why, and you have to pursue your why. And stop thinking that you cannot do things, that you're not good enough, that you can't handle it. You can always do so much more than you can ever comprehend if you want it badly enough. What you believe becomes your reality. So believe in the best and believe in yourself. You need to be the one who's never afraid of betting on yourself, no matter what. If you wake up with this attitude every day, nothing can stop you. Be bold, cut your BS stories, and understand in many aspects of life, it's like with this famous saying about love. You shall not seek love, but you shall remove all obstacles and hindrances that might prevent you from receiving it. That is so true and applies to so many other areas of life. And that was the points that I wanted to discuss with you before we go into the weekend. Obviously, we scratched the surface on many of those points. We will have future episodes where we dive more into detail in certain sections. But I'm also always here to help you. If you can resonate and there's things that you struggle with of the points that we've discussed in this episode, contact me, ask me for advice, send me a message. I do have systems, I have proven methodologies to investigate and identify those patterns, maybe those limiting beliefs, those things that are holding you back in life, those areas where you live with this scarcity mindset. And we can put systems and actions in place that you can take to better yourself and to improve. And after all, it's a journey. It's every single day waking up and understanding there's something that I can do different, something that I can do better, something where I can take more control of my life, where I can gain more clarity and focus, reach another level of self-awareness and mindfulness, take away the stress and the fear that money creates in my life, and understand that I have to be kind to myself, that I have to talk to myself in a respectful way, and that I stop that nagging voice that is consistently telling me that I cannot do it, that I cannot get better, that I'm bad at math and that's why I can't get that job. There's so many limiting beliefs that we put into our head. that we start being kind to ourselves, and that we don't fear the future, and that we are future-proof, that we are prepared for uncertainty, so that we can better respond to adversity, and that we don't compare ourselves to others and live our own life. That's the things that I wanted to touch on. I hope that there's something in there for you, and I wish you a great weekend. I will announce in the week who is going to be on my next podcast. I'm very excited to have another guest on my podcast. If you haven't listened to the episode, please go back to the last one, which was Joanne Rudder-Halbrook. She's the author of Your Passport to Parenting. It was a really, really great episode for people that are aspiring parents, that are parents already. There's something in there that you can take away, so go and check it out. And then I see you next week Friday on the Success Blueprint, where we talk about strategies to build a life and business you love. Take care.